Thank you and welcome to the presentation about the Zero Defects Manufacturing Platform. I will tell you about the standardization activities and also how we identified gaps and some things about the planned workshop agreements. My name is Grunewald and I'm from Dean, and I will now give you a bit more space. Okay. So the ZDMP project consists of 30 partners from 10 European countries. There are around the half of the partners are SMEs. There are 14 users, so it's a quite heterogeneous consortium, and one standards association, which is Dean, and the project lifetime or the duration is 4 years. Like the other projects from this call, we also have an open call with 50 to 150,000 euro per sub-project and around 10 to 30 sub-projects per call. They start in January and in June next year, and for further information, I provide you with a link. Regarding the standardization in ZDMP, there are 3 main points. It's the interaction with standardization, the compliance with existing standards, and also to provide some input to standardization. What we did first to increase or to check the awareness of standards is we asked the users and all the project partners to rate a list of 100 standards. And we asked them to rate each standard from 0 to 3, from not relevant, maybe relevant, highly relevant to we will use it. And then for each standard, you get some voting results, let's say, and you can also do a list of the top standards. The second, what we asked the project partners is which standards will you actually use for your components? And for 26 components, they provided in some 40 standards which they would like to use, which is kind of a high number from my impression. Then we asked the partners where they are active, and they were active in quite a lot of consortia, mainly Software AG and Uninova, and also in ISO IEC, CEN and CENELEC, where Uninova and Southampton, University of Southampton are active. What some partners did during the project or in parallel to the project is in the University of Polytechnical University of Valencia, one working group analyzed the existing reference models and created a new reference model out of it for digital manufacturing platforms, which might serve as an idea for some standardization input. And a second working group from Uninova from Portugal, they assigned quite a lot of standards to different RAMI layers. Now you have an idea of the consortium and the partners and their and their connection to standardization. And now we go to the identification of standardization needs. So we did a standardization workshop quite early in the project and asked the partners about what they think or what for them, for their perception, are their needs for new standards or for more concrete standards. And they formed small groups of 2 to 3 people and discussed a bit and then wrote their results on these cards. And you can see, and in the second step, they also voted with these black dots. You can see how important they find the ideas. And you can see the most important for them was pretty much about data exchange, data ontology, how to handle the data. Then a second very specific part was about terminology, zero defect specific terminology, which is currently not existing. And also the idea was to create a zero defects process, which means how to come from your manufacturing process to transform it into a zero defects manufacturing process, and also predictive maintenance was a topic. The partners also provided ideas via email or in discussions. For example, also in discussions with other projects from the call, we had the idea that requirements for marketplaces are a need, or the basis for zero defects certification could also be an option. And one quite interesting app ZDMP is developing is a material tracker, which touches the Industry 4.0 and building information modeling fields. So the material tracker tracks stone tiles for building facades, and if you have a faulty part, you know exactly where on the building those stone tiles are located, and you can exchange the right ones. Now we come to the input to standardization. As we heard today before, CWAs are a good option to provide input during a research project, because you save some time through the low degree of consent. And what we had in mind is that we need a clear benefit for the projects, for the workshop participants, because then you have motivated project partners who want to give input into the CWA, and you also need a clear benefit for many other future users of the CWA and for standardization, which then increases the acceptance of responsible technical committees, because the final goal would be in the future maybe the transition into a full standard, or maybe to give input to a full standard via the CWA. And as you heard before, the 3 projects we set up within the DMP cluster. So we also talked with the partner projects of the DMP cluster about the needs. And yeah, you already heard we set up these 3 projects about zero defects in manufacturing terminology, about the digital manufacturing platform marketplace requirements, and about DMP data exchange. While the CWA 2 and 3 are still in the pre-phase, where discussions are going on, and the first one is starting next week on Thursday. And if you're interested to participate, please just drop me a note. And we also introduced these projects to the Centennial at Sea Coordination Group on Smart Manufacturing, which already Luc mentioned this morning. And with this, I would like to thank you. And I think questions are welcome in the question session.